man. He knows what he's talking about. But that doesn't mean I can't disagree with him on a couple of premises that he puts forward right now. Premise number one, that this is more about election politics for Republicans than it is anything else. I tend to disagree with that. I think there's more of a line in the sand being drawn for what is quote unquote right, not necessarily in a political perspective, but what is right as far as someone who is accused. The second premise I would push back with you on is that women are a monolith that vote one way or another together. That has not been the truth, and the election results in 2016 bear that out. There are many women out there who are saying that Brett Kavanaugh is being crucified at the altar of, politics, not necessarily women's issues. And while I understand that there's a women's march, and I know Linda Sarsour, and I've had conversation with her, that want to make you believe that there is such a monolith, I don't think that there is. I think there are more people that believe in the rule of law than the rule of women being Democrat.
Well, I agree with that. But let's understand also from the Kavanaugh hearing last week that we've now with the FBI investigation that even though it's of a narrow scope of what happened with the 3 allegations against him, once the FBI starts investigating things, I'm seeing this in my practice with federal cases, the scope expands as they bring more information in. So just as Brett Kavanaugh said, well, I've never been passed out drunk. I've fallen asleep from being drunk. If the FBI interviews somebody who says, yeah, Brett was passed out drunk all the time. Well, now he's perjured himself in front of Congress. And Kavanaugh said during the interview with Martha on Fox News, I was a virgin all the way throughout high school and into college. If the FBI investigates one person who says, hey, I had sex with Brett Kavanaugh in 1981, well, then now he's lied to America. That'll be included in the FBI report. The FBI does not make conclusions, but they do report on everything that they learn during the course of their investigation and make those things public. So I don't know if Republicans can have complete confidence that there's nobody who has a picture floating around from 1982 of Brett Kavanaugh somewhere passed out with a beer bottle in his hand. So when this became an issue, this is too toxic for my political taste. If it was a Democrat, I would make the exact same argument that, look, somebody's got to be sacrificed at the altar. Mitch McConnell made the decision to hold up Merrick Garland. Maybe this is the pound of flesh that they're going to extract. Does it suck for him? Yeah, but is it worth destroying the entire party over? I would say no.
Well, and unfortunately, neither you or I are in power right now, so we don't get to make that decision, but I see the point you're making. However, I think that you don't fight the fights you can win. I think you fight the fights that are worth fighting for, and this is one, at least to me, that is worth fighting for, especially considering we have no corroboration, no substantiation of any of these allegations. And I think that bears to be repeated. But you know what? This is a conversation that we're going to continue later on in the week with Robert. I'll call this part one because I got to ask the questions here. Robert's going to get to ask me the questions later on. And Robert, tell everybody about the radio show and all the stuff that you're involved with on social media and all that good stuff.
Oh, absolutely. So my show is People, Passion, and Politics on News and Talk 1380 WAOK in Atlanta. We're on Sundays 1 to 4. Also, you can always find videos of all of our broadcasts on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Robert Patillo. Also, our YouTube page, YouTube, just search Robert Patillo. All of our stuff comes up. You'll see me pop up from time to time arguing on Fox News, usually on either Cavuto or on Tucker, or on American News HQ with both Leland and Elizabeth Pran. So I'm all around. Google us. Hit the website, www.robertpatillo.com. And I'm always responsible on social media. I'll be glad to mix it with anybody anytime.
Hang on. I got to pick up all these names that you dropped. Hold on a second here. Robert, you're the man as always. I look forward to part 2 of this where you get to cross-examine. And this is, and honestly, folks, this is what should be happening in government. Robert and I don't see eye to eye on a whole bunch of things. We have some common ground on a lot of other stuff. But keep the conversation going. Don't shun the other side. Don't demonize the other side. Constructively engage, and you know what? You'll come up with friendships and better relationships. And I've always said, and I know Robert agrees with this, iron sharpens iron. It'll make you a better and more responsible politician as well in your everyday life. Rob, you get the last word.
I agree with you 100%. And remember, it's okay to disagree. Just don't be disagreeable.
And always know that I'm right. Robert, thank you very much for coming on. We'll talk to you later. Hey folks, I just want to let you know about a great opportunity for listeners of Behind Enemy Lines Radio. If you go to our website, www.behindenemylines.radio.us, and click on the SaneBox ad on the right side of the page, you will get a great opportunity for a discounted offer to join SaneBox. SaneBox filters out all the unimportant email from your inbox so that you can really focus on what matters. If you're anything like me, folks, you get hundreds of pieces of email a day, not many of which is important. SaneBox's smart filter will get everything you need to fly through your inbox and finally make email work for you. It gets rid of spam emails, it deprioritizes emails that aren't as important to you, and it helps you unsubscribe from mailing lists and individual senders with ease. So again, go to www.behindenemylinesradio.us and you click on the SaneBox ad and you'll be given an exclusive offer you won't find anywhere else. This is Behind Enemy Lines Radio. Time to do the plugs. Let's see if I remember how to do them. Thanks for listening to Behind Enemy Lines Radio. I'm Gene Berardelli. Russ Gall will be back as soon as I can get him back on the show. Try and put things back together here since I went down. And we'll talk about that a little bit more as the weeks go on. But thanks for listening to the show. Check us out at www.behindenemylinesradio.us. Check us out on the Facebooks and the Twitters at BEL_radio. And if you're not tuned in over there, you can always catch us at one of our rebroadcast outlets, including WJHC 107.5 FM, Jasper, Florida, Talk 107.5, Talk 92.1 FM, WDDQ in Adel, Georgia, and News Talk 1330 WLBB, Carrollton, Georgia, all a part of the Talk America Radio Network, powered by ICRN, the Internet's conservative radio network. You can also check us out at KLRN Radio, Lone Star Talk Radio, and Sackheads Media, and of course, Lanterns Radio. Check them out at lanterns.buzz. And finally, Eye to Eye Talk Radio, their new kid on the block. Check them out as well. But if you don't want to listen to us on one of our rebroadcasts during the scheduled times we can find at www.behindenemylinesradio.us, that's okay. That's cool. We can be available to you on demand as well. We're available as a podcast at Spreaker, Stitcher, Podbay, Player FM, SoundCloud. You can discover us on Google Play Podcasts, TuneIn, iTunes, Auto Radio, and of course the mighty iHeartRadio Network. Whole bunch of ways to listen to the show, and we hope you keep listening as we continue our comeback here. So I want to thank Robert Patillo, People, Passions, Politics, the name of his show, and check it out this coming Sunday. I'm going to be on it as we continue the conversation about Judge Brett Kavanaugh that we started and that you heard. Also check out robertpatillo.com for more about Robert. Listen, I know that we're a conservative radio show, but Robert's a good friend. His views are not crazy. He's a reasonable person. He appears on Fox News quite frequently, on Cavuto and other shows, Fox Business as well. He's a sought-after guest, and we were glad to host him and glad to have him. I know he may be a little liberal, but check him out anyway. Support what he does. He's the type of liberal you want to support, the type of Democrat you want to support, who's not crazy. There's a whole bunch of crazy out there lately, folks. People attacking senators in elevators, and people shouting down senators and making them leave restaurants, and there's a whole lot of cray out there. I don't know what happened in the time we left, but it seems like the whole liberal sphere has gone nuts. And maybe it's because, and here's a segue for you folks, that's what we call this in the radio business, a segue. Maybe it's because we are looking at an unhinged Democrat leadership that cares more about winning than they care about what's best for the country. The latest example of which is who Russ likes to call Senator Frankenfeinstein, Dianne Feinstein, Di-Fi, for all her friends out there, playing politics with Dr. Ford. Now, Russ and I wrote a column about 2 weeks ago for Newsmax, part of the run-up to what we're doing here. Newsmax published a column, Behind Enemy Lines, got a ton of shares, probably the most we've ever had, somewhere over 1,000. Which was really gratifying to see, especially, coming back after, the heart thing for me. But the whole point of the piece that we wrote was Professor Ford may be a victim of sexual assault. I can't tell. I know that Russ can't tell. But she seems to be a victim of Democrats and a victim of Democrat liberal politics. And what I mean by that is, whether or not she is to be believed or not, she made a report to her congresswoman, Anna Eshoo, and that report got forwarded to DiFi, and then it was held for weeks. Senator Feinstein knew about this allegation from Professor Ford when she met with Brett Kavanaugh. Didn't let him know then. Knew about the allegation when the Senate Judiciary Committee was meeting. Didn't let anyone know then. Not even in confidence to set up a private hearing. Not even to let them know, hey guys, there's this allegation out there that we've received that I'm keeping the name of the person confidential out of respect for her, but this is serious and it needs to be addressed in closed session. Could have done that. Didn't do it. Could have respected Professor Ford's request for privacy and staying out of the public eye. Didn't do it. Waited until the hearings on Judge Kavanaugh was closed, and then decided after Plan A didn't work in trying to go after his record and his decisions and show that he wasn't qualified to be on the bench at the highest court in the land, when in fact he is eminently qualified by every objective measure that there can be for a judge. When all else failed, don't you know it, a leak happens. And don't you know, the people who are in possession of the leak are all Democrats, whether it be this congresswoman from California, Senator Feinstein, or Professor Ford and her attorneys. And that should be investigated. But while we're waiting and holding our breath for that, because I don't think there's anything fruitful going to come of it, Washington leaks like a sieve, for goodness sakes, and this is nothing new. But what this represents is a new low for Democrats, because now it's win at all costs. It's win regardless of the wishes of a victim of sexual abuse or alleged sexual abuse by this person. It's win and character assassinate and the rule of law be damned. And the rule of, American culture and American way of life be damned. Let's change the culture so that allegations equal facts. Let's put the whole world upside down and say that a person's genetic makeup, their sexual characteristics, denotes truth-telling ability. That all women must be believed. I'm here to tell you, folks, there is nothing in the DNA of women that make them any more or less truthful than men. That's not me saying it, that's science. I choose to kneel at the altar of evidence and fact. I choose to allow presumption of innocence in all facets, even outside the courtroom door. Presumption of innocence doesn't end, as we discussed earlier, at the doors of a criminal court. They exist everywhere in our life. Not just at hearings, but in our family life, like we discussed earlier with the examples we talked about with, children tattling and one kid in school with another kid in school. It's dealt with in our lives every day. There's a reason why companies choose to put in due process for allegations of wrongdoing in businesses. It's in their bylaws, it's in their handbooks, it's in their policies and procedures. And indeed, the cry of, where is my due process, comes out in many an employment law setting and in many a hearing. It's all around in our everyday lives. But Democrats want you to throw away our jurisprudence, our everyday prudence, and all semblance of reason. And they want us to get out the pitchforks, light the torches, and start marching down the driveways of every old white male in power to say, we got one. We got this guy on the hook. The fish is on, the line is screaming. Let's reel it in. And let's reel it in at all costs. If you want to, I did kind of a couple of mixed metaphors there between the lynch mob and the crazed Captain Ahab, but you get what I'm saying, folks. This is no longer about Brett Kavanaugh, or Professor Ford for that matter, or any of the other people alleging that Judge Kavanaugh did anything to them. And, the allegations have gotten flimsier and flimsier as time has gone on, as is wont to happen in situations like this, because everyone comes out for their 15 minutes of fame, Michael Avenatti. But that's just, the nature of the beast here. The nature of the beast being, the nature of media, the nature of politics, and how the two feed each other.